Welcome everybody to our regularly scheduled board meeting, September 19th, 2023. Call to order, declaration of a quorum, 7 members present. Welcome to this meeting of the College Station Independent School District Board of Trustees. We were elected at large to represent the interests of our community and our state in educating our students. Our mission for our students in this district is success each life, each day, each hour. We adhere to all pertinent laws, policies, and procedures in posting agendas and conducting our meetings. The detailed agenda information was made available to us at least 72 hours in advance. We've all come to this meeting informed and prepared. We have just completed a workshop meeting where we heard reports and discussed much of the information needed to make decisions in either this meeting or in upcoming meetings. This is a meeting of the 7 trustees in a public setting rather than a public meeting. As such, public comment is included on the agenda at a specific time, requires us to listen rather than take action so as to abide by the Open Meetings Act. We are pleased that you have taken time this evening to join us. We're very proud of this school district and we thank you for your interest in and support of our students. That'll bring us to item C, recognitions, Pledge of Allegiance, and we will have, who's here for Riverbend and Southwood Valley?
Ms. Sherman and Mrs. DeLuna, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Allie DeLuna, and I'm the principal at Southwood Valley, and I'm very proud to introduce these 2 young ladies tonight. I have Sawyer and Jordan, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you tonight.
Good evening, I'm Jordan Benjamin and I am the marketing director on the Southwood Valley leadership team. When I am not in school, I'm swimming, reading, or dancing. One thing I love about my school is how teachers and students treat me like family. No matter how their day is going, they take time to talk to me and make sure I start every day off in a positive way.
Good evening, my name is Sawyer Sims and I'm Communications Director for the Southwood Valley Leadership Team. When I am not at school, you can find me reading or swimming. My favorite thing about my school is all the teachers and staff are very nice. I also love that I'm getting to learn how to be a leader.
Hello everyone, my name is Heather Sherman. I'm the very proud principal at Riverbend Elementary and I have with me this evening 2 4th grade leader bears who are going to introduce themselves to you. I'll do this.
Hi, my name is Emily Bishop. I'm a 4th grader at Riverbend Elementary. I'm also the student council president. Some of my favorite things to do when I'm not at school is dance, cook, and playing soccer. My favorite thing about Riverbend is helping students when they're not having the best day.
Hi, my name is Josiah Wilson, and I'm a 4th grader at Riverbend Elementary, and some of my favorite things to do are acrobatics, cooking, and reading. And my favorite thing about being a Riverbend bear is meeting new people and introducing them to our school.
Please rise and join us for the pledges in a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Now please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good job. Stay up here, we're going to take a picture.
We'll take a picture in just a minute. Okay, here, don't leave yet, students. Okay, it is my honor tonight. We've been given the opportunity to recognize some educators, and so it is my privilege to recognize some of the fabulous educators this evening from Southwood Valley. Our campus has identified traits that we as educators need to exhibit in order to fulfill our mission, our vision, and our collective commitments. And so each month, staff are chosen and highlighted for exemplifying these 8 traits. So then it's their responsibility to go and seek out somebody else that has that trait. And so tonight, I'm proud to be recognizing the employees who have been chosen for September. So I'm going to ask them to come up, and then I'll tell you a little bit about them. So come on up. Y'all can get on both sides of me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'll just go from this way over. So we've got Amanda Bowen, and she is our speech path at Southwood Valley, and we recognized her for her compassion. I'm not going to read everything that everybody does, but her love and just for everybody, the students and the staff, is why we recognized her for compassion. It's a very important trait that we have. Next, we have Amanda Kim, and she is a 2nd grade math science teacher, and we are recognizing her for her collaboration. She's just always willing to help and jump in and get involved in everything, and we can just kind of count on her to be a positive voice for us and to collaborate. Next, on my left, I've got Estefania Diaz, and she is 3rd grade dual language, and she has gotten the extra mile. She's gone the extra mile. She actually just single-handedly organized our Fiestas Patrias participation on Sunday, and that was a huge success and a really great experience for our students. So we're really thankful for her and her leadership. Then on this side of me, I have Cynthia Montoya, who is a 4th grade dual language teacher, and I recognize her for being a lifelong learner. She's always just always trying to find ways to grow and to do exciting things that are going to engage her students in 4th grade. And so she's just always, and she's going to grad school. And so, yeah, just constantly learning. Next, we have Kimmy Bethune, and she is a Castle teacher at Southwood Valley. This is her 1st year as a teacher, 1st year in special ed, and I'm recognizing her for her positivity, because what you see here is what you get all day long, even if her day is hard. And so we really appreciate having her, and we're lucky to have her on our staff. And then last but not least, we have Coach Fletcher and Tiffany Fletcher, and she is our PE coach, and she is just a joy. She will take the time to just come to my office and give me a hug, because that's the kind of person she is. So we're recognizing her for a relationship builder. She does that with her students. They love her. They're like, even my son's like, guess what? It's a PE day today. And so those of you who, you all know, PE can be a place, but it is a well-oiled machine in there. So our other 2 educators weren't able to be here tonight. Wanda Mason, she is our motivator. She teaches Head Start. Just the other day, she's walking down the hall singing and dancing with her littles, and just motivates me personally. I promise her I give her a shout out if she's watching. And Gabby Campos, she's one of our paras, and she got the Helping Hand Award. She helps out in 3rd grade, and just always there to lend a hand. So very, very proud of these educators and the work that they do every day. So I appreciate the chance to get to recognize them tonight.
All right, I'm going to welcome up front our fabulous teachers that are here from Riverbend tonight that I would like to recognize. First up, we have our digital learning coach, Jill Peterson. We have our reading interventionist, Melanie Winslow, instructional coach, Felicia Neville, and kindergarten teachers, Catherine Easterling, Kaylee Orstag, and Kara McQueen. First of all, I'd like to just thank you all for the opportunity to recognize some of our educators. I think this is fabulous to be able to recognize the hard work that is creating such an impact in our school. It's really hard to pick when you feel like you have the best of the best, but I really wanted to recognize these people because their impact has really made a difference in our campus in such a short amount of time. First, I'd like to talk about Jill. Jill is our digital learning coach. This is a new position to us at Riverbend this year, and in a lot of ways, we're building the plane as we go. But one of the things that I love about Jill is that she, when offered this position, started researching other school districts and seeing what they were doing with their digital learning coach positions, because she wants us to set the example for others that may have this position one day, and I can appreciate that about her. She's taken on our MAP testing, and for those of you in the room who know what that is, it's quite the undertaking. So over the last 3 weeks, Jill has collaborated and worked with teachers to administer over 1,800 MAP assessments to all of our students in all content areas, which is a huge undertaking. But one of the things that I enjoy about her the most is while she was doing this, she was taking notes about things that she can do to help our students better use technology to prepare them for these assessments. She participates in all of our grade level planning and our PLCs, and she is really the steward for us in designing lessons where students can be creators with technology instead of just being consumers. So I really appreciate her efforts and wanted to recognize her tonight. These other folks with me, they did something that we had never done before, and I always love teachers that are innovative and can find a way to support our students in a more meaningful way. So while the rest of our teachers were enjoying their last few moments of the summer, these ladies were up at Riverbend meeting and greeting our incoming kindergarten students. They reached about 75% of our incoming kindergarten students 2 weeks before school. They brought them up, they made connections with their families, they assessed them to find out where they were in their learning, and they made great connections. Not only did it give us a great place to start at so we could hit the ground running, designing those individualized lessons with our students, but it also gave our families a foundation and a sense of belonging. So when they came to school on the first day of school, they were already familiar with our staff. They already knew their children were loved, that they were safe, that they were going to be taken care of, and that sense of belonging was created very early on before school even started. And that has made a tremendous impact on our kindergarten class this year. So thank you, ladies.
And the students will come back up so we can all take a big group picture. I know, Kathleen, you don't really want to be in the picture.
Can y'all come over?
Come on up. Yeah.
On your way out, we'd like to recognize the artwork there at the back of our board room from Cypress Grove and Southwood Valley kids. Great artists here in our district, so make sure you check that out before you leave. Bring us to item D, D1, board reports. Who'd like to go first?
I can go first. We met, PAC met last week, and at the meeting, we just went over the purpose, 2 weeks ago. We went over the purpose and the meeting dates for the year, and voted on a secretary and chairperson, and they chose Lauren Cummings as the secretary and Brittany Kane as the chairperson. And we actually had multiple people that wanted these positions, so it was pretty awesome. We made him do a little speech and everything. Yeah, it was great. And then also Head Start Policy Council. I'm not going to talk numbers this time. That's what I always give you guys. But we had the opportunity to meet in person. We met at Another Broken Egg last week, and it was just a really special time. You know, we talk about how important relationships are, and that day, the relationships within that group, like even though some of them are brand new to the Head Start Policy Council, the relationships formed that day. You could feel it. The moms talked about their involvement and what they want for their kids, their hopes and dreams for their kids, and it was just a really cool meeting, and it lasted like 2 hours, and they didn't want to leave. So I think that says something. So I just want to talk about that and the wonderful work that they're going to be doing this year.
I can go next. Last week was the first DEIC meeting for the year, so I also similarly had new folks coming in, and we got to know those new board representatives. Myself and Mr. Decker were there. The chairperson rolling in for the year is Lainey Grawl, and really just kind of set up what the job of DEIC is and kind of what it looks like for the next year, getting ready for the next meeting next month. I think that's pretty much the summary of DIC. We also did have our esteemed superintendent come present as well, starting to share a little bit more about that bond, so that was good. And then yesterday, Mr. Ben and I and Dr. Harkrider attended the Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Again, new folks rolling onto that one as well. The main agenda item was the Workforce Commission presenting about the work that they do. I didn't really know a lot about it, but I guess the general idea is trying to match, people who need jobs with businesses in the community that need jobs. So they offer services to both sides. And of course, the other piece of it is really help to increase skills of some of the people that need jobs. So some opportunities there. They actually do some programs with us, particularly our Project Search program that we do with Baylor Scott and White, which is wonderful. And maybe there's more opportunity, I don't know. And then the other thing at that meeting was, again, Dr. Harkrider had a little more formal presentation for the bond, really got to introduce it to that group, and heard people talking afterwards. It was short and sweet, but they said you did a really nice job, so that's good.
School Health Advisory Council is meeting Friday, so not there yet. The Education Foundation was at Chrissy's Closet for a tour there. Folks hadn't seen it before, and for those who had, and there are always volunteers needed. So if you're student orgs or yourself or an organization you're a part of, can always volunteer there. The foundation's in its annual partnering campaign, and their goal is to raise $325,000. And then they are currently accepting teacher grant applications. So get your grant applications in, and then anyone, all the time, anyone at home, you can always donate at givetokids.csisd.org.
I believe there's also a ribbon cutting for Chrissy's Closet tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, so try to make it out to that.
Anything else?
Can I clarify the Chrissy's Closet ribbon cut? It's not that it's new. Obviously, it's been around a long time. It's a new location, right? So that's excited for the new location.
Yes, sir. On the topic of bond, our team of presenters are ready to go. We started bond presentations, started this week. We really get hot and heavy October 2nd through the 19th, leading up to early voting on October the 23rd. Next week, we've got a TASA-TASB conference in Dallas. That's a great opportunity for new learning with many of you on the board, as well as some of my key team leaders that will be there as well as a meeting with TASA on the upcoming third special session with our legislators.
All right. That'll bring us to item E. Any comments? Nope. Brings us to item F, consent agenda. Those items are item G, item H2, I2, J1 through J6, K2.
Motion approved.
Motion by Dr. Payne, second by Mr. Decker. Any further comment? Questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Brings us to item H1, receive a report on professional learning in CSISD from Mr. Mann, I believe.
All right, good evening, everyone. Mr. Horak, thank you very much for letting me come up here and share the 3-year update for the Professional Learning in College Station ISD. So these are the topics that we're going to talk about this evening, and then I'll conclude with any questions or comments that you guys may have as a board. But we'll talk about what we're doing currently. I'll touch on some data, and then I will also share some opportunities that we always have for growth and improvement in this area. So you can see here that in College Station, we believe in lifelong learning for everyone. But for our employees, we truly believe in that because we believe that learning is a continuous process and everyone should engage in this throughout their entire career. As you all know, that our campuses provide a wide variety of PD in a multitude of formats, weekly, biweekly, monthly. And so staff have lots of opportunity each month at their campuses to grow. And then at the district, we strive to provide very, very many opportunities as well. We do provide both in person and virtually because sometimes a teacher just needs to tune in right after school and hear something and not come over here. And it's a good way to get 30 minutes of PD knocked out. But we really strive to provide things in different academic contents as well as multiple professional growth topics. Everything that we create through these 4 lenses as much as possible. We try to ground it in the research-based practices for what we know adults need in their learning. We tie things to our campus and our district improvement plans. We try to vary our designs of our sessions so that they're not sit and get, but really actively engaging for our adult learners. And then we always try to focus on student achievement and how are we improving student outcomes as a result of the learning that we've provided. And you're all very familiar with our strategic design plan. And as you know, specific result 1.2 has a goal of a personalized PD program, and we are working very hard to try to accomplish that goal. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up what TEA requires of us to make sure that as a system we are providing, and our teachers have to complete every year, right? So you see in front of you 150 hours over a 5-year period are required by TEA, and so that's an average of 30 hours a year. And 120 of those hours must come from specific topics that TEA specifies. And then the same is true for the other positions you see listed here, except for it's 200 hours over 5 years, and so it's 40 hours every year. And again, we have a specific list of topics that we have to make sure that we provide, and they get those in that 5-year period. We are also very familiar with the annual retraining requirements, bloodborne pathogens, anyone, right? There's 18 hours of those that, if you remember back a few years ago, I was up here telling you how it increased from 8 to 10, or by 10 hours from 8 to 18. And so that was a big change a couple legislative sessions ago, and so we still have that in place. We have teachers that work in elementary that they have to complete the Reading Academy training, and that's 60 hours of training. And then if you're a new hire that does not have your GT training completed, that's 30 additional hours. So if Mr. Horak wants to come be a 3rd grade teacher next year, he will have 98 hours of training to complete in his first year as a teacher. That's a lot of training that's on the shoulders of our teachers. Absolutely. Last year, it was legislated in that we make sure we have clear documentation of what they call clearinghouse training schedules. And we have that, and that's in place, and we've updated that for this year. Just wanted to bring it up since this is a professional learning board report, that we have all the requirements accounted for in all of our trainings. Some of the activity examples, we provide many more than what I have listed here. I just wanted to touch on some of the major activities that we have. You're very familiar with our new teacher university process, our onboarding, that we have orientation, mentoring work for all of our new hires. You know from the previous board meetings that we partnership with Solution Tree, and so we're doing a lot of work with PLCs this year, and that will continue for the next couple of years. We are supporting some specific content areas through our federal funding, and so that's why they're listed here, because we have very specific work that we're doing through science and with ELA. Character education is a big push. We adopted Character Strong in a recent board meeting, and so there's lots of professional learning associated with that. And then you can see just a couple of examples of how we're providing PD for our classroom teachers and their ongoing growth and development. We have a variety of leadership development opportunities for classroom teachers and administrators. And as you're very familiar with the programs that we have in place, we're trying to provide that opportunity for growth at all levels in leadership. One of the things that a lot of people are not aware of is that part of the federal requirements is that we have to work with our private nonprofit schools that are within our boundaries. And so they have an opportunity to opt in to receive federal funding that we are allocated from the United States government. And so we act as the legislative arm to get, or not the local education agency to give them the funding if they opt in to meet the requirements. So we have 1 out of 7 in our boundaries that does actually participate. And so they have a guided reading initiative and they have a STEM training initiative. And so then part of my responsibility is to make sure that we're in compliance with all of those program needs as well. Early childhood, they do a fantastic job of all their PD for their staff, both professional and para staff. AVID, we're very familiar with AVID in our district, and they provide lots of training not only for their elective teachers and their campuses, but our AVID coordinator does a great job of bringing in summer training opportunity for folks to be able to attend as well. Our bilingual students is always a focus of work in our professional learning, depth and complexity for our gifted and talented programs, STEM training, fine arts, school safety, and then we have several campus initiatives that we won't go through here, but it gives you a good view of all the learning that takes place over the course of a single school year in CSISD. All this learning requires money, right? And so these are the different funding sources that we pull upon. A large number comes from local funds, and so every campus and department has allocations in their budgets for professional learning. But you can see the different title funds, which are federally funded programs, Head Start, CTE, Special Services, which is our IDA program. All of those allocate funds for professional development. And listed here are the totals from the past 3 years from all of those funding sources that we put into PD across our system. I don't have this year's money listed up there because a couple of those grant funds are not due in until the end of the month, and so I didn't want to put up incomplete data and information, but I can assure you that it's very much in line with what we've been allocating over the past couple of years. And you can see we have cost all the way through to help support, and that's where this money goes towards. From personnel to contracted services for folks that come in from the outside to work with us, and supplies and travel. And then the subscriptions for online learning programs have really increased, especially since COVID. And so we have a lot more of those that we fund through our PD sources. This graphic or table shows you the number to give you an idea of just how much we produce and provide over the course of the year between the campus and the district level for our teachers to participate in. And so we have lots and lots of opportunity within CSISD, but then we also have lots of opportunity for folks to go and attend conferences outside the district as well. But we really take it upon ourselves to make sure that we're providing high quality learning within the district that's in line with our strategic plan and trying to really meet the needs of what we want to see for our staff in their learning. We do survey. Not every one of them, right? There were 781 courses last year, so we didn't survey all 781, but we do some sampling of survey, and we take that information and use it for growth. So we try to track it and see just where are we doing well and where can we get better at. And that's one of the things when I first came into this role is with NTU specifically, I took it from a satisfaction rating of the low 80s, and we've been consistently up in the 90 percentile. And a lot of that is due to a quote that you see here is because we've been taking the feedback from the folks and how can we get better. And so this was one of the pieces given to me this year from a person that's been in other districts that really felt the onboarding was really targeted to them. And that really spoke to me because we don't want it to be the same for everyone, just like we don't want that for our children. And so how are we targeting that with our adults? And so that was a really good comment and compliment to the work that we do. Shifting on to opportunities, we have lots of opportunities to continue to grow and get better in this work. One of the things that I'm excited about was last year was our first year with our professional learning system with Power School Professional Learning. And so we've been able to really learn that in the first year, and now we're able to really utilize it more for what it's capable of, which has been a very good benefit, especially on my end. And one of the things that it is capable of is it does integrate with Schoology. And so we can create some learning for folks for anytime, anywhere learning. But we can also create, like, there's a course, if you come in, you can have some materials ahead of time. We go through them during. We can send you to do some stuff just like we would do in a blended learning setting in a classroom, right? And so we're able to provide more of the type of learning that we want to see in our classrooms as well. And so we, as the educators, learn how to deliver that better for our students. And then one of the features of the program we haven't started utilizing yet is the badging component of it. But that's something I plan on working on and getting into motion this year. If you're not familiar with badging, it's basically digital stickers, right? And so you complete different trainings and you get these, and a lot of folks like to showcase their learning. I think it's a fabulous motivator. And so it's just a matter of how do we create the system so that we are automating it for automated things, but then we're awarding it for whenever folks complete certain courses for us. So kind of to sum up our opportunities, we've always got lots of chances to grow and provide PD that's most relevant to our staff, right? To meet the needs of our staff, to meet the needs of our students, provide as much job embedded as we can. We strive to do that. How much can we build in to the work that they're doing? How much can we develop and deploy on-demand learning? Because we know that that's what a lot of people want. They like to learn on their schedule, and we want to be able to provide that. Obviously, this makes training more complex. There's a lot more coordination that needs to occur between campuses and district on how we do this. And then always the struggle of time and the 18 hours that are required of training, but also to encourage folks to choose specific training that is what they want to learn and it's going to help them with their work. So that's a very fast overview of what I've got, but I'm going to stop right there and I'll take any questions that you guys may have.
I just want to say that I always we get to see what's going on every week in our transmittals. I love that you include the professional development that's going on during the week, and we get a glimpse of all of the work, all of the extra work that teachers are doing. So I'm glad that everyone else gets to hear this too, that our teachers are also continuously learning. Mm-hmm. And you said it in there, learn how to be better for our students. So it's perfect. Thank you for all your hard work and all of the extra work that teachers put into this too, just to learning to be better. Thank you.
Yep, they do a great job.
A couple of questions. The last bullet you had on there was one I was thinking as well. I mean, do you know the percentages of how much of the learning that is being done, the PD, is what folks get to choose versus what is kind of a required stuff either by the state or through CSISD?
Yeah, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I could get you that information. It's simply running the reports of what are the required training programs and then what are the things that we create within our systems.
I mean, because I would think there would need to be a balance, as in many things, right? Yeah. Obviously, some things we have to do, some that we think as a district are important, and then there should be the things that folks really want to learn and grow. So a good balance probably makes sense. Also on the online, you mentioned you actually, the kind of maybe a similar question. How much is online versus in person? And are you purposely trying to do more online? Is that what I heard you?
Well, we're trying to make sure we create those opportunities. So if you remember in the past, like we would have, campuses may call them like a lunch and learn where folks would come into the lecture hall to have it. Well, at this level, that's impossible to come to central office real quick. So then our digital learning coaches would provide, hey, come in during your lunch period for a 20-minute snippet of learning. Or, there's not unusual for me to be leaving the building and Jennifer Smith is in her office with a bunch of math teachers covering a quick PD over things that they need to know, right? And so a lot of it's just how do we capitalize on the technology that we have and then provide some learning just like right on the spot and meet them where they are.
Right, and use the best practices of when online makes sense and when it doesn't, of course.
I think a lot of that has to do with respecting teachers' time as well.
Certainly, yeah, not having to drive across town. One other thought, and I don't know if this falls under you, but I think one way to develop people is, I mean, I personally do, is having a good mentor. Is that something that you've thought of through your PD, or or through anywhere else in the district? Just
Yes, we have, obviously we have our new teacher mentor program. But one of the initiatives that started this year through science is with our ADI mentors. And so Amanda Gibson has done a lot of work, identified, I don't want to say numbers, but she's identified folks at each campus to go through specific science mentor training. And they are going through that as we are going through this year, and they're providing that on the spot for their folks. There's a lot of training that we do that I've started to leverage Title II funds to compensate folks for, to teachers providing some on-the-spot training, because we also know that teachers like to hear training from other folks. And so we're always having conversations about how can we leverage these funds in different ways to provide some of those opportunities for folks. So yes, we are growing that area.
pockets of it. Wonderful. Thank you. And again, thank you for everything you do.
Yep.
Anything else? Appreciate it, Mr.
Thank
Mann.
you.
Thank you. That will bring us to item I1, consideration, discussion, and possible action regarding a new administrator contract for Director of Communications. Dr. Harkrider.
At this time, we'd like to present a new Director of Communications. We went through an interview process with a committee. The committee was unanimous that we found the right person to lead this team. He's coming to us from Cy-Fair ISD, a little over 8 years worth of experience. He is an Aggie, so I do hire Aggies, just in case y'all were concerned about that. So I do not discriminate.
Duly noted.
He's the right person for us at the right time. We're excited about presenting Austin, and so I'd like to recommend Austin Dunson, administrator contract for the Director of Communications.
I move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Nolan, second by Mr. Ben. Any further questions, discussion?
I'm just wondering if the two ladies from Southwood Valley applied, because I probably would have hired them.
I wish we would have known about that ahead of time, maybe, but all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Congratulations, Austin, and welcome to College Station ISD. If you'd like to stand up and introduce who you brought and tell us a little bit about you, if you'd like. Wonderful.
Wait a minute. Now, you hired an Aggie, but his name is Austin. Is that why? Your new name's College Station.
Might have been a method to my madness. You never know.
That'll bring us to item K1. Consider authorizing the superintendent to enter into final negotiations and contract with JT Vaughn Construction LLC for construction upgrades of security vestibules in an amount not to exceed $510,000 based on Choice Partners JOC contract number 20/017MR-20 using the Adam Family Safety and Security Donation Fund. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Dr. Arkwright. Mr. Horak, member. Oh, thank you. This particular agenda item is to complete the final 5 campuses within the school district for the remaining high school and middle school campuses. Specifically, those are College Station High School, College View High School, College Station Middle School, A&M Consolidated Middle School, and Welborn Middle School. The specific scope of that work is considered confidential in that we don't want to share key security information with the general public, but I can say that the plans and specifications were designed well by VLK architects with our input, of course. We did bring in CSISD Safety Coordinator Tracy McClendon and David Hutchison, our Director of Technology, for some help in that process. And these plans and specifications were then shared with 2 trusted vendors so that we just didn't put this confidential information out on the street. This was, of course, to control who had this information and how it was shared. The two firms that we used were JT Vaughn Construction, LLC, and Intech Sales, LLC. And they met with CSISD and VLK individually, reviewed the project, and both have provided a proposal for this project. Those proposals are attached for your reference. JT Vaughn Construction had the highest ranked and only complete proposal. They are an approved purchasing cooperative vendor, and they are our recommended contractor for this project. Intech Sales specifically excluded the impact-resistant glazing from their overall bid, which is what gave the nod to Vaughn. JT Vaughn Construction's proposal cost is $510,000, which would be funded from the Adam family donation. And I would like just take a brief moment to say thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Adam for their generous donation that is making this very important project a reality. So with that said, it's recommended that the College Station Independent School District Board of Trustees consider award of a contract for upgrades to high school and middle school security vestibules to JT Vaughn Construction, LLC, in the amount of $510,000, utilizing the Adam family donation for funding. And with that, I'll open it up to questions or comments.
Motion to approve is presented. Nothing for you, Josh.
Got a motion by Dr. Payne and a slide-in second motion by Mr. Hall. Any further questions or comments? Hey, we appreciate, for one, getting this done. I know security has been at the forefront, and also want to reiterate thank you to the Adam Foundation for everything they're doing for all school safety just in our area. So we appreciate that. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. That'll bring us to item L, executive session. The board will meet in executive session to consult with its attorney regarding bond election procedures. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to the consultation with attorney, closed meeting. Exception to Texas Open Meetings Act is set forth in section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Thank y'all for being here. We'll see y'all when we get back. All right, we're back in session at 8:09. I'd like to give a special shout out to Mr. McKeever from Creekview Elementary for hanging around and being our principal to stay. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. McKeever. And that'll bring us to our last item, adjourn. Thank y'all.